Hello and a very warm welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep channel dedicated to the success of CAT aspirants. And today we plan to look at this particular question that I've been asked very often over the years, and that is, how can I build the best profile for the IIMs? And I can understand where this question comes from. So let's go ahead and answer this question for once and for all today. My name is Vikrant. I have been teaching for 22 years and I've coached thousands of students over this period. And by the way, I've forgotten the count of the number of interviews that I have conducted, and I think I can definitely go ahead and share some really deep insights into this particular process. So before we start, have you subscribed to our channel yet? If not, then do subscribe and press the bell icon so that you get to know every single time when we come live or whenever we go ahead and of course upload a video. And before I actually dive into building a profile, what exactly is your goal? Come to think of it, you're preparing for the CAT, you also wake up on a Sunday morning and you tune it to work with your personal coach here, Vikrant. And why do you do all this? What's your goal? So your goal actually is not to prepare for the CAT. We at times get so caught up in CAT preparation that we forget that big picture, and that big picture is that your goal is to join your dream B school. You want to get into a college of your choice, right? So now the question is, how do we get into a college of our choice? So every college happens to have some selection criteria. Every college wants certain things in you so that they can select you. And in order to check those things, in order to figure those things out, they have devised a very elaborate selection process and selection criteria. So I remember until a couple of years ago, a student of mine came to me and said, "Sir, CAT se dar nahi lagta, sir. Criteria se lagta hai." So I could understand where he was coming from. He was very confident of making it or getting a great percentile, but then there are these other things that bothered him. So let us see what it is that the college wants from you. So I am going to introduce you to the point of view of the college, and the best way of doing that is to get into the shoes of the college professor. So for the next few minutes, let us assume that you and I, both of us, we run a B school and we are the ones who are selecting people. So who is going to be your ideal candidate? Shivraj, I think this session will also help you with that to a certain extent. So let us see. Which offer letter do you have though? So first up, you are going to join mostly a 2-year PGDM or MBA course, which means that for 2 years you are going to study, and therefore obviously we want to see that you should be a good student, isn't it? Then it is a B school, Masters of Business Administration. We need to convert those students into good managers. So we would try and see if that person has the potential to become an excellent manager or not. So these two are going to be the key things. And then there is this third factor. At the end of those 2 years, you will ask for a placement. So in a way, the college needs to sell you to the other organizations. So are you sellable? Are you a very attractive choice for the recruiters that come to that college? So There are these three major things that we look at, and then there are of course minor things. Things like how would you benefit the batch? How does your presence enrich and enhance the class discussions? So all those things. But normally, I'd say if we have to think of anything, think of these three things. Anything in your resume, anything in your life history that supports one of these three things is going to be a very useful, a very impactful thing for the selection committee of the college. Right, so whatever you do it in this domain, and then there are various things, various stages, various steps that you typically have, isn't it? So for instance, if I look at the selection criteria, obviously all of these things play a role. So you need to have a CAT score. They may also look at your academic performance, your work experience, the kind of diversity that you bring in, be it academic diversity or gender diversity. So it's only when you look at a combination of all these things that you are shortlisted for the next stage. It's only when you do that you are shortlisted for the next stage. So the most important thing for you to do right now is that you focus on getting a great CAT score, getting a great CAT percentile. That has to be your primary activity at the moment. So a lot of people do come to me and say, sir, profile, but then if they need to study for 6 hours a day to get a 99 plus percentile, do they even have time for building a profile? No. So you need to ensure that you do not deviate from CAT scores. Do not take your attention away from your CAT preparation. That is of paramount importance. It's only when you have some time left that you engage in other activities. Now, I personally believe that most of us can engage or indulge in some other activity for sure. Right? So even if you're able to take out 15-20 minutes a day, I am sure you can pick up at least one of those things that is going to help you eventually. Oh, fantastic, fantastic, Shivraj. Good luck for you, and I'm keeping your fingers, and I'll keep my fingers crossed. Right? So all of these things matter. Now, when you talk about profile, your profile, now when I talk about academic profile, work experience, etc., that's not something that you can perhaps develop right now. Your profile comes into picture or plays a role only during the interview. And interview is a big deal. Once you are shortlisted for the next round, interviews carry a lot of weightage. And therefore, building a sound profile is going to be very useful. It will help you maximize your score in the interview, but then it should not come at the cost of those other things. यार imagine, चलो CAT का percentile ही नहीं आया हमारा, कॉल ही नहीं आई, तो क्या करेंगे प्रोफाइल का फिर, है ना? So इन सारी चीजों को साथ साथ चलाना जरूरी है. तो एक बार let's just review them once again, okay, quickly. So you need to have a great CAT score depending upon whatever your dream B school is. So your CAT score plays a role. So typically, we know that the good colleges, if I talk about say IIM Ahmedabad, you're talking about at least getting more than 99.3 percentile. So you need to go ahead and grab that. And in the overall scheme of things, I think when it comes to shortlisting you for the next round, almost 60-65% weightage. So I mean, it actually depends on college to college. So I'd say that somewhere between 30 to 70% weightage is given to your CAT score. But then they also look at your academic performance. So your academic performance basically is 10th and 12th. So for most of the colleges, when it comes to giving a call for the next round, they will look at 10th and 12th scores. There are very few colleges that will look at your graduation scores, although when they offer you a final selection, when they compile that composite score, they will look at your graduation marks as well. So for most of us, 10th is already done, 12th is already done. Whatever you scored, you scored. Can we change it? No. And therefore, let us forget it. Let's not worry about it. The only thing that you still have ahead of you in case you are still studying in college is graduation. So please make sure that you get as many marks as possible in graduation. Divij, let's just push up the CAT scores a little more. So I think your 10th and 12th scores are absolutely terrific. You also have 2.5 years of work experience. So when I say 2.5 years, let me give you the basic calculation. So you have 29 months of work experience, multiply it by 0.2, right? And what do you get? So you will get 5.8 marks. So if you apply to IIM Ahmedabad, this is what you're going to get, right? So whatever lies ahead, yeah, let's not worry. So if your question is, and it's a legit question, here is my profile, can I expect a call from the IIMs? Absolutely yes. And why are you stopping yourself at 99 percentile when you can go even further? Isn't it? So it's just work. So academic performance, graduation scores, please make sure that you take care of it. Then work experience. So is it necessary for you to have work experience for majority of the colleges, for majority of the courses? No. In fact, if you look at the IIMs, roughly around 30% of the batch consists of freshers. And it is not that freshers compete with people with work experience. Freshers will compete against other freshers. So the better freshers will win, right? And the remaining 70% is of the batch consists of people with work experience, and where less than 1 year of work experience usually won't count. But the best thing is to have 1 to 3 years of work experience. Okay. Divij, I have seen people with performances worse than yours make it to colleges. Divij, I know of somebody who finished his 4-year engineering in 6 years, where he barely scraped through. He had a 52.8%, and he had a lot of personal challenges in life because of which, and personal challenges which are not really nice. Okay, so it's not that there were financial issues in the family or sort. I mean, those the kind of things that would probably make people look down on you. And this guy get into these newer IIMs a couple of years ago. I'd mentored him and I ensured that he got in. So what lies ahead is a lot more important part. Okay. Okay, and since a lot of you are sharing your scores, see, anything above 90% in 10th leads to 10 marks. So you get full marks. And then similarly in 12th, if you're a science or a commerce graduate, you need to have 90% plus to get full marks. If you are from humanities, then 85% plus will lead to you're getting the 10 marks. And then I'll not even get into graduation because there are these different categorizations and God knows what all. But if you have above 90%, you're going to get full marks in 10th and 12th. Right? So work experience. So you can consider working. So if you think that you may lag behind in some of those other areas and that can become a cause for you're not getting a call, you can take a conscious choice and work for a couple of years, a year, 2 years, at the max 3 years, and then apply to the colleges. Then, of course, there are some marks for academic diversity, but then you have taken up the streams that you wanted to. You can't do anything about it. So let's not worry. Similarly, gender diversity. For females and transgenders, the colleges are going to allocate them extra marks. But does that mean that if you're not a female or a transgender, you go ahead and get a sex change operation? Obviously, no. So there are certain things that are not in our hand. Let us not worry about them. But then there are things which are in our hand. You notice these colleges will have analytical writing test or written ability test. So can you ensure that you start improving your writing ability? So here is a task for you. Write half a page every day. And then, of course, interviews. Start your preparation of interviews from today onwards. Dude, 70% of the questions that can be asked from you can be predicted. So why don't you jot down the answers to each one of those questions? Pick up a question, write an answer, sleep on it, wake up next day, read it, and you'd realize that you can improve it further. Improve it. Once you have gone through 2-3 drafts, show it to someone else. Seek their feedback and then incorporate that feedback. Do it. I mean, make sure that you have those 60, 70, 80, 100 pages of likely interview questions along with their answers ready, pat on. You can get questions from your name, questions from your ACADS, questions about your family, questions about your city, questions about strengths and weaknesses and why MBA and why should you be selected. Please make sure that you sit down and jot all of these. And I see a lot of people, okay, Sadanand, oh wow, very nice, yeah, very, very, very nice, very nice, fantastic, great profile, man. Nikhil, wonderful, absolutely, yeah. Just focus on your CAT prep. You will get a call. But then start preparing for these other things. And if you want to maximize your score from the interviews, let us start working on your profile. So what do we mean by the profile and what all things can be added into it in order to make you a more lucrative candidate? So we use our profile to show relevant qualities. Okay, so what kind of qualities should we consider relevant? Any quality that shows that you can be a good student, any quality that shows that you can become a good manager, any quality that shows that you have leadership potential. Okay, these are the kind of things that we are looking at. So just to give you a brief snapshot, here it is. So you can think of things that show or prove your personal effectiveness. Okay, is there an activity through which you can show self-confidence, achievement, drive and commitment, initiative, teamwork, communication? So you notice this? You notice all these things here? Problem solving. This is by and large, to a large extent anyway, taken care of by the CAT. But then managing for results. Then group and interpersonal effectiveness. This is really important. So these are the kind of things. So engage in activities that allow you to prove that you have these abilities. Okay. And then there are various things that you can engage in which will go ahead and prove it to you. So for instance, let us start with this one major area, and that is co-curricular activities. So for those of you who are still in college, you can definitely look at this. So co-curricular activities are those activities that complement your curriculum. These are activities that happen within the academic setup, but they somehow add on to whatever was being taught to you in college. For example, if you're a commerce student, see, participating in a business plan competition or a case study competition is a co-curricular activity, right? How about getting some research papers published, or if you're an engineer, getting into all those technical paper presentations, right? So those are the kind of things that can definitely help. If you are a literature, so for example, robotics competition, say you are an English honors student, being on the editorial board of the college magazine, that's a co-curricular activity for you. So look for those avenues that allow you to extend the boundary of curriculum a little more. So those things can happen in your college, those things can happen inter-college or university level. So make sure that you go ahead and participate in co-curricular activities, they not only enhance the depth of your understanding of the subject matter, but they also give you a more enriched profile. Sadanand, we do post a lot of interview preparation videos. I don't think we have so far published an interview experience. I mean, most of the students that we work with, you realize if I have to post it, I'd need to take their consent, and a lot of students may not be comfortable with that. But you do have a point. It's actually useful. Let us see if we can give you some sort of a simulation. Let's see. I'll definitely pass it on to the team, and let's see if we can do that. Okay. Would you be willing to join in as an interviewee? Because if you are, then the process can become a little easier. Okay, so we have co-curricular activities. So these are the kind of things that you can do, and it is not an exhaustive list. Okay, I am limited by the size of the PPT, so I've just jotted down a lot of those things that are relevant. Moving on, do you realize that you have something called extracurricular activities? So co-curricular activities complement your curriculum, but then there are a lot of other things that you can do within the four walls of your college that are not connected to your curriculum, yet they can go on to enhance your profile and give you some more skills in the process. So for instance, how about joining the DebSoc, the debating society, or maybe the dramatics club? Or a lot of these colleges have these dance groups and singing groups. So you have this performing arts segment. Then the college has a lot of publications at times. Different departments also have their own newspapers and magazines. You can start contributing to those, or you can manage those. A college may also have a photography club or whatever, a book club, a poetry club. So you can get involved with a lot of these extracurricular activities. Can you tell me which all clubs your college has or had, and the ones that you were a part of? It'd be interesting to know the kind of things that people here have already done. Oh, Shivansh, nice, very nice. What happened in 12th? Why is there a dip? अरे भाई तू इंटरव्यू देने जाएगा ना, तेरे से पूछेंगे यार 10th में बड़ा अच्छा किया, ग्रेजुएशन तो फोड़ दिया, ये बीच में 12th में क्या कहानी चली? So make sure that you go ahead and prepare a really good answer. So your 12th scores are good, but compared to those other two spikes that you have, that seems like a low point. Okay, SAE, Collegiate Club. What is SAE here? So if you have any such club, so no, normally what I tell people is that when you join a college, keep on looking at the notice boards. Okay, and the moment you see this, for participation, call at this number or come to this room, just go. What is the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario is that it will turn out to be a blood donation camp, in which case you'd still be benefiting somebody. Okay, oh, Society of Automotive Engineers, array man, how could I forget that? Okay, it's fantastic. So all the, but then that is more of a co-curricular thing, right? And then you realize that during the college, your learning happens in a classroom. So within that classroom, there is a teacher who teaches you a subject and you learn certain things. But then you also can learn a lot within the four walls of your college. And then let us not forget that there is a world outside these four walls. Idhar bhi to duniya hai. So you can engage in things even outside the college, and those are called, oh, I forgot this, sports, root sports. You can go ahead and talk about sports. That you can get into extramural activities. Oh, so more on this. So within college, so since we are talking about college, positions of responsibilities, remember colleges have councils, clubs, committees. So you can hopefully play some role there. You can be the president, the secretary, the treasurer, the person who handles PR. And if not that, then there are a lot of festivals, etc., that happen. You can be a part of that organizing team there. So you can take up some of those positions of responsibility. For example, Ranvijay was the sports head, and then he also had a state gold and team captain. Guys, these are the kind of people that we are forced to compete with when it comes to profile. Zenifa. Oof. My God. एक मिनट, मैं जेनिफा, मुझे माथा पकड़ने दो एक बार भाई, बाकी लोग भी एक बार जेनिफा का कमेंट पढ़ना जरा. डैम. 91, 93, 91.1. Oof. Then dual graduation. Then one of them is in music. So academic diversity, gender, Zenifa appears to be a feminine name, so gender diversity, killer academics, you can speak 5 languages, damn. Learning 2 more languages, I think you should do something else instead, okay? Certificate courses, ooh. I think the only thing that appears to be missing here is internship and maybe another hobby or two. So I'd suggest that skip those 2 more languages once and let's talk. But this is fabulous, huh? वो बाकी लोग सीखो, कुछ फाइट मारो, इससे compete करना है, इसको पीछे छोड़ना है हमने, ऐसे नहीं चलेगा. Okay, so positions of responsibilities. And then for those of you who are not in college, dude, you can always get into extramural activities. So extramural activities are those activities that you engage in outside the college. Now, Zenifa, I could see that. Won't you say dual? I know that Prayagraj University thingy and all that, where you get a parallel graduation in music or Kathak and whatnot. I know. I said, I've interviewed truckloads of people. You can't surprise me nowadays. So what kind of extramural activities? You can go ahead and join a lot of clubs. For example, you've seen this Rotary Club, Rotaract, I don't know, Lions Club. There was a club that I was a part of for a good 2 years, Toastmasters International. And there are a lot of other such clubs that give you opportunities to network and maybe give something back to the society, and in the process, hopefully, learn something new. For example, if you want to sharpen your public speaking and presentation skills, Toastmasters International. It can be slightly pricey, slightly expensive, but then if you can afford it, great. If you can't afford it, you can always go there as a guest and learn whatever you can as a guest. So be active participants there. Then you can volunteer for non-profits. There are a lot of NGOs around, and the truth is, nowadays, in fact, there are quite a few NGOs that I've seen and I've worked with. I've realized that with some of those better ones, money is now not that big an issue, but even the better ones struggle with resources, with people. They don't have enough people. So you can volunteer at those non-profits which give you some meatier responsibility. It is easy to get a leadership role there, but then don't do it just to pad up your resume. Do it for a cause that is genuinely close to your heart. Okay, so as long as you do that, in fact, we have this Karthikeya, your ACADS are a little on the weaker side, which means that you need to work harder on getting a stellar CAT percentile and hopefully a WorkX plus starting of an NGO, which can be thought of as your work experience as long as it is full-time after graduation and paid. This should help you overcome it. I'd be very optimistic about your chances. Yeah, absolutely. Sadanand says, is pro bono consulting a good option? Absolutely. Why not? Pro bono consulting is a good option. I mean, if you're willing to offer your services for free, there are a lot of people who would love to take that. How to go about it? I will talk about it later. So extramural activities. Then you can go ahead and look at internships and projects. So now the question is, and this is the part where Sadanand, which probably answer your question. Internship is where you spend 4 to 8 weeks working with an organization, and then projects are things that you at times occasionally do part-time. In fact, quite a few of the IIM professors also run projects. If you reach out to them, chances are that you can actually do those projects with them, right? So how do you land these gigs? So the first one is tap your network. So you know people and those people know people. You can talk to your parents, you can talk to your neighbors, and gradually, if you've been doing that, by now you have a reasonable amount of network, and that network can connect you to places that can help you further your career trajectory. So ideally, you would like to intern at those places that somehow take you closer to your career goals. So that, but then there are a lot of other places and platforms available which make it easy for you to land an internship. For example, have you heard of Internshala? These are all websites you can Google. Internshala, Let's Intern, Hello Intern, and let's not forget LinkedIn. Dude, if you do not have a LinkedIn profile so far, please make sure that you have one. Please make a really good LinkedIn profile, and then you can connect with people there and then write to them. People post about internship opportunities and job opportunities on LinkedIn, and then you have Indeed. That's also a website, okay? Indeed India. And then there was this website I came across a few months ago, 2019. It was, the people who started it did not start it as a place to offer or provide internships, but then somehow they veered towards that. So that's another place that can help you in looking for internships and projects. So make sure that you visit these places regularly and that you tap your network so that you are able to add more things here. And then comes the other things. So if you have family business, can you start getting involved with it actively? That is going to definitely be useful. See, in any case, if you have a family business, you are going to be asked questions around that family business. So if you are involved, you'd know even more. And let's not forget, MBA is Masters in Business Administration. So if you are involved in your own family business, that gives you that unparalleled access to different aspects of a business. Learn to at least see how those different components of the business come together and the kind of challenges that exist, and why is it that your business is not able to scale up, or if it has scaled up, what the other challenges are. So engage in all those things. Now you cannot technically call it work experience unless, so for B schools, work experience is anything that you have done after graduation, full time, and paid. So your family business, if your involvement in family business ticks these 3 boxes, you can also talk about it as your work experience. But even if it does not, you can always talk about this. You can take up some other part-time job. You can go ahead and work with somebody for say 3 hours a week, or you can maybe run your own business. I see a lot of people who use social media, Instagram, WhatsApp, etc., to run their own business, become entrepreneurs, and that's going to be a really crucial, really important learning. And then comes this angle of certificate courses. So you can always enhance your learning through courses, but then they're not as high on the priority list as a lot of you think. Okay, they're fairly low. So what are the kind of things that you need to consider? Number one, do not do a certificate course for the sake of doing it. Engage in those courses that are relevant for your long-term career goal. Things that you believe are somehow going to help you moving forward. So there are some courses that I believe all of us should do. Okay, we need to become good at MS Office, right? Especially working with Microsoft Excel and PowerPoint. Very, very useful things. Excel is a very powerful software. So you need to know how to use Google Sheets more effectively. Then in today's world, I think uh, big data or analytics, etc., are another areas that you want to perhaps explore. And then depending upon what your long-term career goal is, say you want to get into finance. So National Stock Exchange has a lot of interesting programs. You can go through that. Then a lot of new developments are happening around finance in the world around us. Okay, so you'd see people talking about cryptocurrencies, people talking about blockchains. You realize quite a few of the IIM professors actually run their own courses, these short online courses where they teach you about crypto, teach you about blockchain, teach you about decentralized finance. You want to get into marketing, it's absolutely great to go ahead and do some course in digital marketing strategies or social media strategies, right? So depending upon what your long-term career goal is, you can choose and pick up those certificate courses, and please do not pick them up at the last moment. In January, February, you get a call and then you're like, oh, I'll have an interview, so now I need to go ahead and collect some certificates. So you go to Coursera and then you just finish off 3-4 certificates, and the interviewers will see through it. So don't do that. And do not opt for a course merely because it is just a 1-day, 2-day course and will give you a certificate. The more meatier a course is, the better it is. In fact, most of the B schools also have a lot of short-term courses. Why don't you go ahead and do those short-term courses from those dream B schools? Last year, I was working with a student who wanted to target Harvard Business School. So one of the things that he did was that he went to the summer school at Harvard. He spent 6 weeks there learning about marketing because that's what his goal was. And then subsequently, when he applied to Harvard, that exposure definitely helped him get ahead of the pack a bit. So look for those meatier courses where you get a lot of hands-on experience, where there are a lot of case studies, where there are a lot of projects that you go through. Those are the ones that are going to be very useful. So don't do them just for the sake of doing them. See, I did my master's in psychology when I started teaching. You know why? Because I wanted to learn because I wanted to know how people learn better and how people stay motivated. I learned neuro-linguistic programming later because I realized that this helps me talk to my students in the right way. Right? Then when the world moved online, I did a 3-month course on social media marketing strategies because I realized that this has become a part that a teacher should know. So at BYJU'S, I do have an entire fabulous team, okay, that handles these things for us. But now when I talk to them, I'm able to understand their concerns because I've gone through that course. I'm not an expert, but at least I know a bit so that I understand their concerns and so that I'm able to occasionally even contribute meaningfully to their discussions. Okay, so plenty of things. So do not blindly pick up certificate courses. Pick up those that are relevant for you, and then just like Zenify, you can also go ahead and learn a new language. If it helps you, why not? Especially in colleges like IIFT. If you know another language, if you know French, if you know German, if you know Mandarin, a lot of world deals with China, and if you know Mandarin, that can be absolutely amazing. So these are the kind of things that you can, in that case, definitely consider. Yeah? Right? And then there is this one part that at times we overlook, but let's add that as well, and that is have hobbies. Pick up a hobby or two because they give you some more things to talk about, some more qualities to portray. So I'm sure most of us have had this one thing that we wanted to do. So one thing that you thought that, oh, someday when I have some spare time, I'll know more about it. So make today that day. So engage in a hobby or two. Develop that depth. Give this another dimension to your personality. And so if you combine all of these things, okay, co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities, extramural activities, internships and projects, if your work experience amazing, along with these, then it will make your profile a very well-rounded profile. So by now, you must have seen that building profile is not a short-term project. You cannot do a great job of it overnight. So at whichever point of life you are today, make sure that you start working on building that profile straight away. And if you are an early starter, let's say you're writing CAT 23, or maybe I occasionally see students here who are writing CAT 24. This is the time, best time for you to start doing these things. The truth is your profile building started when you were in the 8th standard, maybe even sooner. It is just that you were not aware of it. And because you were not aware of it, you may not have cultivated it or given it the kind of thought that it deserved. Right? So now that you know it, make sure that you go ahead and develop a well-rounded personality so that when you go to a B school interview, you go from this to this. Okay. That's our goal. And anybody who's able to do that will rock the interview. All in all. So if you enjoyed this session, don't forget to press the like button. And for those of you who are preparing for CAT 23, we have a new batch available, and it is one of the best courses that you can go ahead. What do you look for in a course? You want to work with excellent teachers. You've seen all of us here, right? You want to have a lot of classes. See, more than 200 hours of live classes. And to add to it, we also give you more than 300 recorded lectures that give you that foundational and deeper understanding of each one of those areas. You want practice questions? Check, 10,000, more than 10,000. You want mock tests? Check, more than 75. And all of this in this fabulous guided platform for you. And to make it easy for you to join us, we have a scholarship test on 18th of February. You can get up to 90% off. So what are you thinking of? And then, we keep on conducting a lot of sessions, a lot of workshops that add value. One such workshop is happening on 14th of February. Yes, I know, Valentine's Day evening. But then let's have a date with Srinivas sir, where he will talk about how you can score more than 99 percentile in CAT 23. And if you want to see where you stand today vis-a-vis the competition, our window for All India Open Mock of Maharashtra CET is open. The test started yesterday. If you have not written it, if you haven't sat for it yet, register at the earliest and then write the test. It'll tell you where you stand. And that's how great journeys start, right? So that's it from me today. We are at all of these platforms. If you have any other questions, any other concern, feel more than free to reach out to us on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or Telegram, and we would love to help you continue your journey. So until then, all the best from me. Stay safe, stay focused, and very importantly, stay in touch. See you soon.